Hi, Team Boarders. We're back with another continuation of our suffixes, root words or base words, and prefixes collection. Today we're going to discuss what are suffixes, just as we talked about with prefixes. Suffixes are the last syllables like id and li that have their own meaning. Suffixes combine with words to create new meanings. For example, you have turn plus id equals turned, which means to turn in the past, or quick plus li, which means quick, which equals quickly, which means how it turned. Okay? Here are some examples of different words or base words or root words with suffixes attached to them, okay? The suffix li means in this manner. So just take a moment and go through these words: kindly, especially, eventually, likely, friendly, originally, really, properly, personally, weakly, and actually. Again, if you take these root words and the actual suffix, you change the meaning. So this is kind, and if you may ask the question, well, how kind was he? How kind was he? Or how kind did he give the piece of candy? You could say he gave it to her kindly. So this is also an adverb, by the way, that we'll talk about later. But just take note again as how your root words change when you attach the actual suffix to them, okay? We're going to continue and just go ahead, prepare yourselves with your notebooks to write down these various suffixes here that we've identified. Excuse me. Let's go back a little bit and underline that. These actual suffixes in your journals, and just write down the meanings. And you can take down a few of these words just so you have a list of different words and how they change with the suffixes attached to them. Another suffix, full, which means full of. So just take a moment and go through the list. Full of pain. Think of it like this. Think of the definition instead of the word. This is painful means to be full of pain. Successful means to be full of success. You see how you have the word full in there and the actual root word in that sentence. So instead of saying, I am a successful young man, you could say, I am full of success. Take note of how those words break down with each other as you put them in a sentence. And also, what happens when you add the suffix and the word ends with a Y? So we have pity, and we want to say we're full of pity. We actually drop that Y off, change it to an I, and then we add full there. So anytime you have a Y on the end of your word and you're trying to add a suffix to it, you actually change that Y to an I, and then you add your suffix. And in this case, our suffix will be full. Let's continue. The suffix less means without. So careless means without care. Lifeless means without life. And you can continue to go on, pause the video to read through the rest of the list just to get an understanding of how those root words and the suffix less changes the meaning, okay? What happens when you add the suffix and the word ends with a Y? Again, mercy, to say that you're without mercy, drop that Y. Change that Y to an I, and then add the suffix less, okay? All right, we're going to continue. The suffix means for or belonging to. Teacher, Londoner, islander, okay? And this rule is a little different here. What happens when you add the suffix to the word and the word ends with an E? Well, you simply leave the E there and you add that R. You won't make it two E's and an R, okay? And if you've lost any of this thus far, take a chance, pause the video, write down some questions and notes, and go back. Okay? The suffix able means able to, breakable, able to break. Okay? What has changed when the suffix is added? What is the rule? Argue, rely. What do you notice about those ending words when you change it to the ending letters, when you change argue to arguable or rely to reliable? If you notice here, that E is no longer attached to argue. It actually disappeared. You take that E off, that vowel, and you simply add the suffix able. Rely. Same as a few slides back, you take off that Y, replace it with an I, and then you add your suffix. Okay. Just take a moment in your journals and go ahead and match the suffixes to the appropriate words. You have your suffixes down here, and you have your actual root words or base words here. If again, just take a moment to review the video. If it is necessary for you to do so, we'll be ready to discuss this in class. Take care. Bye-bye.